What's up, everybody? This is MasterKingJC of the Annie Gaming Nexus here to give you guys my movie review for Doctor Strange. Yes, the Doctor is finally in. The newest superhero for the Marvel Cinematic Universe has finally made his magical entrance into theaters. And I saw this movie over the weekend on Friday. I actually want to get the review up on Friday, after I saw the movie, but things came up, so I had to delay it a little bit. But nonetheless, I'll be giving my review for the movie. This will be a spoiler-free review, so if you're worried about any sort of spoilers or hints, I will try to refrain from it as much as possible in this review. So let's get started. The basic synopsis of the movie is you have Dr. Stephen Strange, a genius, brilliant neurosurgeon with godlike hands, who's extremely skilled at his job and is also extremely cocky, very narcissistic, and also very egotistical as well. And he is basically one of the highest rated doctors in all of New York. And his life changes when he gets into a terrible car accident which completely mangles his hands and takes away his ability to perform his craft, and his career is pretty much dead in the water. After multiple attempts to try to get his hands back into work and function again to relieve some of the nerve damage, he's been turned to a different path, a more magical path. So he comes to the area where you have these elite sorcerers who protect the world and pretty much the multiverse from these different threats and these different mystical creatures out there in the unknown. He goes here, he's skeptical at first, of course, but once he's taken on a legit acid trip, he begins to see the light and he wants to learn the mystical arts. I really enjoyed this movie. I think that this movie had one of the more positive qualities that I love from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is the fact that you have a mostly enjoyable main cast. So let's take a moment to talk about the cast. You have Benedict Cumberbatch, you have Tito Swinton, you have Mads Mikkelsen, you have Itrito Elijah Ford. I probably butcher his name, but everyone does that because his name is so fucking hard to pronounce. Why is your name so hard to pronounce, Ichiro? Anyway, you have an all-star cast here. The music is phenomenal. The visuals are probably the best visuals I've ever seen in an MCU movie. Like, the only movie I can see coming close in terms of visuals that I can remember in recent memory is probably Guardians of the Galaxy. And that is because Doctor Strange is completely focusing on the magical, supernatural elements. They really went all out for the most part, showcasing just how huge the universe is. Not just the universe, the multiverse. That's right, people. We're going completely multiversal in this movie, and I'm so happy that Marvel decided to let the chains loose and go deeper into the cosmic, interdimensional side of the comics. As for the main villain, though, Mads Mikkelsen, I've enjoyed him in certain aspects, but he still falls short in terms of villains when we have in this movie. He's still not on the same level as villains, I would say, like Loki or Baron Zemo or other villains who have much of a purpose. He's really an afterthought in this movie. There's one scene in this movie, I'm not going to say what it is, where there's this hint that, there might be more to him, but it just doesn't add to anywhere at all. And the magic itself, Doctor Strange, they're not too clear on how long he takes his time in this atmosphere or whatever it is where he's training. They really don't tell you exactly how long he's training here, but it seems like a fairly short amount of time, and they kind of excuse it a little bit by saying that he's already a skilled physician. He has a photographic memory, so that gives him a bit of an edge, but it feels like the way he progressed in magic was a little bit too fast compared to his other predecessors as well. But that's one of the few flaws I have in the movie. Humor in this movie is hit or miss as well. This is probably one of the first Marvel movies where I say the humor is hit or miss. because sometimes some of the humor has me laughing out loud. But I think I laughed like maybe 2 or 3 times in a movie, but some of the jokes just didn't hit some spots. But outside of that, the character interactions and the character stories, I wanted to learn more about this world of the mystics, of the magical arts. I actually want to know more about Tilda Swinton's character, the Ancient One. I know I'm not going to get into all the whole, whitewashing shit. I think she did a phenomenal job as the Ancient One because she filled the role of the teacher, but she also had an extra level of hidden depth to her that I'm not going to go into because that'd be spoilers, but there's also a lot of hidden depth to her as well. And Stephen Strange actually goes through a character arc in this movie. He's a completely different person by the end of this movie than he is from the beginning. And the way he progresses to that is, I feel, the most natural out of some of the Marvel origin movies as well. And Chiwetel Ejiofor, who played Mordo, had his own character arc and is probably one of the most interesting and complex characters in the movie based on a character standpoint. But just to sum it up, the visuals in this movie, phenomenal. You definitely have to see this in IMAX 3D. I saw it in IMAX and I think it did the job fantastic. Like I was literally in the middle of the theater, centered right there, and oh my goodness, there's one sequence. No, there's multiple sequences, but there's so many sequences in the movie where you just feel so immersed into the world right now, and it's completely trippy. Do not watch this movie if you're on acid, guys, or if you're high, please. You will be sent out in a freaking stretcher. So, Doctor Strange, while it doesn't bring anything new to the table, it does create a consistent, well-built story, and it does have some of the most entertainment moments in the MCU. And it has, the way this movie concludes is completely different than you would expect from an MCU movie. So no giant explosions, no big ass fight or anything, but the way it concludes, I think is one of the most interesting ways they went about using a certain ability in here, which I gotta give them props on that as well. And the soundtrack is great as well. I definitely, I would say you definitely have to download the soundtrack to this movie, because the music director, his name is lost to me right now, but the guy that got to conduct the music for this film is one of the best in the business, and it sets the complete tone and mood throughout the film as well. So Doctor Strange, I enjoyed the movie a lot. I would definitely see it again. Maybe not in IMAX because it's expensive as hell, but I definitely will see it again in theaters before we move on to a different film. So overall, I give the movie an 8.5 out of 10. I definitely recommend it to you guys who are fans of mystical arts movies as well, magical movies that deal with supernatural elements as well. If you're a fan of Marvel movies as well, or if you're not even a fan of Marvel movies, you just like Benedict Cumberbatch, or if you like special effects and you like a generally interesting take on multiversal dimensional aspects of stuff, this would be a movie that I definitely recommend for you guys. So tell me down below if you guys have seen Doctor Strange, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Keep on keeping on.